This is a short bite episode of Homeschool Together. Hello and welcome back to Self-Care Month, and this is a short bite. We are going to be picking up from where we left off on Monday, which is talking about all the personal goals and developing good habits and all of that stuff to reach the things that you want to accomplish in your life.
I can't believe we're at the end of Self-Care Month.
We are at the very end, and what better than a piece of software that can help you that is free, that most of us probably already have access to because we likely already have a Google account, like the 19 billion people on this planet already have. Talk to us about Google Calendar, how you use Google Calendar, and how people can use it to track their personal goals.
So I never really liked Google Calendar before, but then with kids both doing activities and things, our life just got too complicated. We had to break down.
Way too complicated.
And we had to start using Google Calendar. So one of the things about it for me that I really enjoyed is the ability to make different calendars and see them all in different views. So on our calendar, we have one for us together. We have one that's a homeschool calendar where I can see the big movements of our larger curriculums, like the prehistory or when we were doing our around the world, which country we're going to be in. I want to see those big movements. I want to see planned start dates or finish dates for different curricula. So I have a different calendar and I can just click and unclick. I had one this last year for this was one of my goals for the year, is I really wanted to have a wonderful and family-centered Christmas time, holiday time, right? Winter activities. And I had all of these different activities I wanted to do with my kids. I wanted to do the baking, and I wanted us to do some crafts, and I wanted us to have time to go out and look at lights. And I just had kind of a whole thing. And I had a whole calendar that was called holiday activities that I could just hide. So it didn't clutter everything, but I could see the major things I wanted to do. Right now I'm working on my MBA. That's a big personal goal of mine, and I talked about that a bit in the episode on Monday.
Yeah, we do schedule a lot around that.
We schedule a lot around it. I have an entire calendar around my MBA when I have classes, but also I have all of my homework and stuff. Right when I start a new semester, I put everything into Google Calendar. Yep. So it's all of
I've seen it. You're like, hey, I got a lecture today. I got to do my homework. I got to write my paper, and here's my
I have this
test.
chapter. I have this. I go through the syllabus, and I put everything in there. I have an entire task list so I can see. And those tasks, if I put those, when you do a task, you can either do it unplanned on any day, or you can put it on a day of the month. Yeah. And so if you click on a day to you click on the calendar view to add an event or something, when you go, you can actually click, there's either event or task. You can just go over and click the task tab, add it in there. So I had not the dates when all my homework was due, but the dates in which I plan to work on them. And then in the description, I would say, so okay, I'm going to work on Wednesday. Note in the description, it's due Friday. Because I was actually scheduling, and this is something that I did way back in college. Every time a professor would give me a piece of homework, I would go back to my dorm room, to my whiteboard, and I would write on the days leading up to that, which days I was going to work on what, or how much of the homework I was going to work on which day. So I scheduled all of my work. Yeah. And this is where Google Calendar comes in so handy, because I can take my, I have this theater hobby. I stage manage for community theater. I put that in there. I've got all of my different appointments, and I have my tasks. Oh, I've got to make my run script. I have to do my blocking notes. I have all of those as tasks. The only thing you can't do in Google Calendar is you can turn tasks on or off, but you can't have tasks in different lists. I mean, you can have different lists for them, but you can't turn off and on different lists. Either all tasks are on or all tasks are off. I hope that someday they come out with the ability to change, because I have different lists of tasks. I have my tasks for school. I have my tasks for stage managing. I have my tasks for Homeschool Together, right? Which, that's a big personal goal of ours, is this is our passion project we're always working through. So this system of using Google Calendar is wonderful, because I can keep all my tasks in by date, when I have classes, when we have events, when we need to record podcasts. We schedule in the calendar. We're going to, as tasks, oh, hey, what's coming up this week? Oh, we're going to record this podcast. We got this interview. We're doing this. We pre-schedule our work. And because it's digital, I have it on my phone. You have it, so you can look at it, and we're all on the same page. And I think when it comes to, achieving your goals, the communication is really key so that you get the time that you need to work on what's important to you.
Well, and also we're aware of each other's, special needs. Like, for example, I'm a writing group, or I have some event coming up, or, I'm at the dentist with the kids and they schedule the next, dentist appointment, and I go ahead and put that in the calendar. It's there and you see it. And so we never run into, we try to avoid the situation where, there's a situation, where I say, well, I had it on the calendar. Well, I didn't see it. Right. Or, something was coming up and it's like, well, I didn't know that was there and I had to schedule this thing. So you have to cancel your event, causing that friction and that chaos,
right.
Alleviating that friction and chaos, I think is a good way to build a positive experience and a positive environment that leads to a better chance at solving your goals or meeting your hopes that you might have at the end of the year.
Yeah, whatever your milestones are. With your writing, you're like, hey, this is my goal. I want to get this many writing blocks in. I need to finish this book by here. And we're all on the same page. So if you haven't used Google Calendar and you haven't used tasks in Calendar, I recommend set up a few different calendars that, work for your family. Go ahead, put some tasks in, see how it works for you. I'm not in love with every aspect of it, but the fact that it's free, it's tied to our Google accounts, we both have access to it. It has been very helpful. And I don't think that we could have achieved everything we did. I don't think I would have been able to schedule school and all my things as well this year and last year if we didn't use Google Calendar.
Well, especially since we have a lot of spinning plates that we're managing. You're doing your school. I've got some of my hobbies. We've obviously got the kids and the needs around that. We have the podcast.
We have the YouTube channel.
We have the YouTube channel. We have, friends and family that we have.
Parent partnership, and we have activities.
We all have, people listening right now, they all have these 15 layers of things that they have that they're constantly managing. And seeing that on a calendar as one big whole, it gives you that vision and clarity on like, how much time do I actually have to devote to certain things? And it brings that, it can sometimes show that you're overscheduled and you need some help or you need to pare things down. I think it gives you that complete understanding. I was always an advocate of this idea when I worked, especially on software, and we had some distributed teams around the world. So I had teams in Europe, I had teams in the US, I had teams like overseas, like in Asia and whatnot. And as a product owner, I wanted to know what was happening to my software tool, even though I had counterparts in those regions as well. So they were managing their stuff. I was managing my teams, but we also were managing the project as a whole. And one of the ideas that I always liked was this total information awareness. That was something I prided myself on, is that I would actually know the status of the other teams. And that was something I wanted to know, so that if like my boss had a question, I wouldn't go, oh, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Or I don't know where they are on that. Like I looked and I made sure, because we all shared a common system where I could monitor where their teams were and how much had they progressed on that work and whatnot. Same idea applies here, is that if you have the total information awareness of your life and the planning of your life, it alleviates a lot of the stress and uncertainty, because it helps you make decisions faster. It stops things from getting out of control. It stops sticking points or failure points that might occur that could cause friction or anxiety. We talked about this with, the mental health stuff. So if you can alleviate means of friction and anxiety, you can run smoother and more efficient. You can achieve the things you want to do. And that's one of the things that I've always seen is, if you can control your daily schedule, you have the freedom to achieve the things you want. Yeah. If you're not controlling your daily schedule, you are not in control of what you want to solve. And so having a schedule like this, having a calendar that you manage across your family, can allow you to achieve those goals, those personal goals that are important to you. And being fulfilled means you're happy and you are excited about coming to your job every day. As a homeschool parent or a spouse or your family, you're excited about things because you feel fulfilled, because you've been able to achieve the things you want. That's right. I think a calendar like this doesn't promise you that will happen, but it gives you a better chance of that coming to be. And so that's one of the reasons why I like a really nice calendar. Even though I'm not a good planner, I wouldn't put this calendar into place. You're all really good at managing that, but I see the value in it.
Yeah. I mean, you get to benefit from it. Because I have a lot of moving pieces, and because I'm doing school and I'm doing shows and things, I felt like it was on me to make something that we could communicate effectively, and it's been really helpful. So if you don't have anything
I love
in
the idea
place,
of communication,
then, maybe check a look and try out Google Calendar if you haven't used it in the past, and let us know what you think. Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time,
happy homeschooling!